I'm Ian Sanders, author of Juggle, Rethink Work, Reclaim Your Life. And I'm here in Paris for the latest of the Juggle tapes. I'm here to meet Gary Vaynerchuk. Now, Gary is a true juggler. He runs a $50 million wine business in the States. He also presents a daily wine tasting video blog called WineLibrary.tv. He also talks on entrepreneurship, Web 2.0, is a real fan of social networking. He's here in Paris talking at Le Web conference, and I'm going to go and talk to him before he flies back home. So Gary, it's great to be spending time with you. Thanks a lot. I know you're on a bit of a schedule because you're flying back to the States in a matter of a couple of hours. Yes. And you've had a manic old schedule. So tell me, what have the French made of you in terms of, okay, so here's this guy from New Jersey coming to Paris, wine country. Sure. Tell him about wine. Have they kind of got their heads around that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny. I think it's funny to a lot of people because the show is only since 2006. But from 1995, 1996, I built up a lot of brand equity within the wine world.
Right.
Obviously, I've reached many more masses now by doing all the mainstream media that I do. But in the wine world, a lot of people knew who I was. You know,
okay.
I built,
so it wasn't a surprise. It was like they knew who Gary Vaynerchuk was, and they knew Wine Library.
Here's the surprise. They knew me as like the Wunderkind in Germany, like the kid that, you know, built up one of the largest independent wine retail companies in America in a very short period of time. When they got this crazy personality, which is my personality, I think a lot of them were disappointed. I really do. I think a lot of them felt like I was hurting myself. Like, why are you being silly? You are so respectful. And I said, I'm just being myself. Sure. And so I think that obviously when people find out about me or my style for the first time, it might be a lot for them. I hope to just out-hustle everybody else to allow that person who thinks I'm obnoxious or over the top or too extroverted, that over time, over just pure effort, they'll see so much of my stuff, they'll get to really know who I am.
Sure. And what I love about you and why it's great that you're taking part in this project and my Juggle book is I think you're a true juggler, you know, because a lot of people would have stopped at just being a wine entrepreneur, you know, and you've done that and you do that well. And then you've extended that into WineLibrary.tv, you know, which if people don't know is this daily, sometimes daily,
5 days a week.
Daily, 5 days a week video blog where you're talking to a camera. And hey, you know, if that wasn't enough, then you've kind of extended it a bit more, and here you find yourself in Paris talking at Le Web about, you know, kind of Web 2.0, the whole social networking thing, the whole, you know, entrepreneurship thing. And I think that's great because, you know, it's very much what I've been talking about in Juggle, which is going beyond the job title, you know? You're just kind of doing your own thing. But what was the kind of moment when you thought, I'm kind of take this further? Because I think in business, you know, it's all about focusing, and obviously you've built a really successful wine retail business, an online business. So at what stage do you think, actually, I'm going to take this further without diluting, you know, the strength and the success of the business?
There was never a debate to me how I wanted to approach my blueprint from a very early age. You know, even when I was 13 and had a very successful baseball card business, I was the first of that crew to go out and start selling collectible toys, comic books. It's in my DNA. You know, I believe that I want my brand to be my DNA, which is wine guy, marketer, and brander. It's also part entertainer. It's also, you know, sports, which is a part of that I haven't shown yet. Tea is not something that I've approached yet, that I'm sure I'll do within the next 24 to 36 months. It's in my DNA to be an entrepreneur, but I think what an entrepreneur pre-2005-06 did was build a company, sell it off, and then build another one.
Yeah.
I believe that because of the tools of communication we have now, and the tools that have been built, the much smarter people in this web world than I am that build the Facebooks and the Ustreams and the Seismics and the Tube Moguls and all these RSS and iPhones have created an infrastructure that a guy like me now can...
You could do the juggling.
A lot of things at once. Build something up, put somebody in place. See, I don't want to sell something off because I want to put somebody very smart in place, let them make lots of money, have lots of fun, and I want to still have my 1 day a week to go in there and still be the wine retailer. I still get tremendous pleasure out of drinking 14 different wines and picking the one that's going to sell. But I also get enormous pleasure for consulting for, you know, Disney and helping them launch their new web initiative. And I also get enormous pleasure in writing a book as an author, or speaking, or launching, you know, a gourmet food website, or launching a t-shirt search engine like I did with my brother AJ. And you know what's funny? I think that some people may think there is a conflict, right?
Right, right.
It's just how you think of it.
Yeah.
I just, you know, some people are like, Gary, if you would have focused more, your wine business would have been bigger. You're right. But I wouldn't have signed
You wouldn't do all these other things as well.
I wouldn't have signed a seven-figure book deal. And I wouldn't be paid to travel around the world and get paid $25,000 to speak for 45 minutes.
Sure, sure.
So, and then because of that, the people that hear me speak in Texas for the first time ever and are interested in me for social media, all of a sudden are also huge wine drinkers. So for me, it all...
Yeah, all nets up.
Sure.
But as you say, the starting point for you, it's just about reflecting your DNA. You ain't contriving this. You're not saying, oh, I'm suddenly going to have another ball to juggle. It's just driven by your passions and your interests.
Yeah, I think, listen, that's the best kind, right? I
mean,
you know, if you force it, you lose.
It ain't going to work, is it? It ain't going to work.
People taste authenticity. And what has been really a big advantage for me is we're living in a world now where authenticity is very obvious. You know, you can't hide behind anything anymore. It's very easy to hide behind television, newspaper, and radio.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It wasn't 24/7. You weren't always out there.
Yeah.
Now you are. People see you at conferences, people Twitter you, people email you. You have a responsibility to really execute against who you're going to be.
Sure.
And some people want to not answer email and not interact and not meet people and not wake up early and do things like this.
Yeah.
And other people do. And you know, to me, I'm just being myself. And luckily for me, you know, mom and dad gave me really good DNA, and I really love people. And that's, you know, the funny thing is, if you want to really talk about what is the core of who I am, it's the tremendous love of other human beings.
Right, that drives it.
That drives it.
Cool.
That drives it. And by being in different niches, it allows me to meet different people.
Yeah.
What people have not wrapped their head around is they feel that this stuff is forced.
Yeah.
What they don't realize is how many choices they have. What they didn't have before were choices. You had 13 channels.
Yeah.
You had to watch one of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, sure.
It's so much better, and people will wrap their head around it. Businesses have really struggled, because their fear is they don't control their message anymore. You got to work the room now. You can't give a presentation. And that's the fundamental difference, how brands and businesses are built. So it's a very exciting time. Everything's changed. And unless you wrap your head around it and embrace it, you're going to have financial and social implications. It's going to happen.
That takes an investment in time. It's something I talk about in the book.
Enormous investment.
You know, when people say, how have you got time to be blogging, doing this and doing this? It's like, just get up earlier, you know? And I remember seeing a post you did on GaryVaynerchuk.com where it was like, how have you got time for a hobby business at night? You just I think, what did you say? You give up Lost, you know, forget watching stuff, those things that you know, suck time. But joking apart, and I know from following you on Twitter in recent days just how kind of manic your schedule is. How do you cope with that breadth? Because I get it how you cope with the breadth of that multi-dimensional stuff, but actually, like, you know, and hard, you know, mentally and physically, you know, you came out, you flew back from San Francisco on Monday, flew out to Paris the same day, you're flying back today, you know, how do you deal with that? You have some coping strategies for that?
You know, I think that it's, you know, I'm a broken record. I naturally have an uncanny adrenaline. I don't need caffeine, I don't need Red Bull. I'm just so obnoxiously high on life. I mean, it's really silly. It's so lame, and you don't
do coffee?
I mean, I do. I like it because I like the taste. I don't need it.
Right.
You know, it's something that I'm just
back to DNA. Is it? It's there.
I'm so blessed.
You have it.
You know, I don't even know what else to say. I would be such a jerk for taking credit for something that is naturally there. I want it more than anybody. Period.
Yeah. It's that hunger.
Period. I want it more than anybody, and the only way to do it and the only way to get it is to do it, and do it hard. People want shortcuts. People want to read a book and realize how to do it. People want to take a supplement to get it. It's not going to happen. The only way you win is by executing at the highest level every second. Do I sleep? Of course I do. But I listen to myself, and I push it as far as I can. And I don't push it further. You know, if I need to sleep for 13 hours, fine. It's not my image. I don't care, right?
No, sure.
I do what I have to do for me. If I need to spend time and just watch blanking Gossip Girl with my wife, then I'm going to do it. I know. I listen to myself.
So it's clear that, you know, I'm interested in this whole area about kind of, you know, work-life, because I think work-life balance is a load of rubbish. It's not about that. It's about integration. It's all mixed up. You know, there's no balance there. You know, I work a bit every day, but I also try and put some play in, especially with the kids and stuff, you know? Now,
Can I jump in one thing?
Please.
If you live for your vacation time, if you live for the vacation time you get from work, you've lost. If you strive for Saturday and Sunday, if Friday afternoon is your favorite moment in life, if that 2 weeks you get in August is everything you think about, then you are broken in our society, and fix it. And you can fix it. You can make $150,000 a year. I promise you, make 95 and do what you love. And you will never ever regret it, not for a second. I've never met an 80-year-old, a 90-year-old at a senior citizens home who told me, I wish I worked more.
No,
not
sure,
one.
absolutely.
Not
absolutely.
one. So, I wish I made more money. Never.
And a lot of that's about redefining success, isn't it? You know, success isn't about, you know, success is the fact that, you know, I can say, actually, I'm going to take Friday off and spend it with my two little boys, you know, or whatever. That I can do my own thing.
That's it. Success is being able to do what you want to do. Period.
But of course, we're lucky because we work for ourselves, you know, in different ways. I run this very small business, you run big business, and all the rest of it. It's easier to do those kind of things. It's easier to say, I'm going to quit today. What do you say to people who are working for big corporations that want to be juggling, want to be mixing it all up?
You're working a 9 to 5. And the last time I checked, you could probably go to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning. That leaves a lot of time.
Back to time.
Back to time. I mean, like, listen, spend 3 hours with your family, knock yourself out. But that means you're done at 8. So what are you going to do between 8 and 2 in the morning? Build what you're passionate about online. This was never an opportunity before. You know, before you physically had to do it.
No, sure.
Or were you going to open a donut shop from 8 to 2? No. But now online, you can build a virtual opportunity for yourself. And that's what you do. You take those 6 to 4 hours a day that you have to build an alternative to what you do. Never quit your job, pay your bills.
No, sure.
And then build up that other entity, understand the business model, create a business model, and then hopefully do that full time eventually.
Absolutely, and there's something else here which is not just for your own quality of life and enrichment and all that, but it's actually, you know, we're living in tough economic times. And if you put all your eggs in one basket, it's like, but actually, if you're really enterprising, you can do 5 or 6 different things, and, you know, I mean, that's got to be more enterprising, can't it?
No question. And listen, if you love tomatoes and you want to sell tomatoes, then go get a night job at a grocery store and sell tomatoes. Just scratch your own itch. Put yourself in a position to do something you care about.
Sure. Well, Gary, I know you've got to fly soon, literally. Just talking about kind of the what next thing. You've given a few hints. You've talked about tea, other stuff you're passionate about. What about wine? Wine's always going to be there? Is kind of part of your background?
Wine's a foundation. I mean, it's just something I love so much, and it's such a part of me. It's a family business. It's my building block, starting point. It will always be a foundation of something I do. I have a lot of extensions, with whether it's a Wine of the Month club or consulting in the wine industry, creating brands, buying a winery. I mean, there's so much more I can do in the wine space. I don't feel like my job is done there. We only get to play this game one time. When it says game over, it's game over. Drink new wines, meet new people, do what you love, because it's all in the old people. You know, I got very lucky. I must be a very old soul. When I was 6 or 7 years old and I would go play in the playgrounds, I would legitimately, if I saw 23 kids playing with a ball and I saw 4 old people with a cane, I swear I would run down and I would head right over to the people with the cane. They always said the same things. I wish I spent more time with my family. I wish I started that lemonade business I wanted to do.
Instead of it just being a dream and I was going to do.
Why did I work in the factory for 55 years? I didn't start vacationing soon enough. I haven't seen the world. I only know 6 people. And all these things just pounded into me at this obnoxiously young age. And, you know, I don't know why, I don't know how, I don't know where that came from, but it's there, and I'm executing against my DNA. And people are watching this right now and saying, yes, definitely. Listen, you may not have my DNA, but recognize what makes you happy. And if what makes you happy is being a jerk, and I mean this is a very wild thing I'm about to say. If what makes you happy is being a jerk or a razzer, then be that. Don't contain yourself. You know, don't go murder people. But other than that, don't
be yourself.
Be yourself all the way. Don't apologize. Don't stop a second short. At the end of the day, I can't sway from who I am. I've tried. That camera goes on, and I'm like, and I just have to go into it.
No, of course.
And that's my message. Just be who you are. Don't apologize. Unforgiving. Execute against your DNA. And I think you'll be shocked in where it leads you. It's going to lead you to a very happy place. And if that means you want to spend all your time with your kids, then do that. Because then probably your kids are going to be so amazing, they're going to make trillions of dollars and allow you to do everything you want. So you made a 10-year investment. So just think about those things and recognize that you can do it all in today's world.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man.
Cheers, Gary.
Thank you.
Great.